is a stable marriage and a safe, happy home for Star.
Yeah.
You must have really bonded. I'm drinking coffee, and you're the one who's wired.
It's not your kid they could take away with one stinking rap of the judge's gavel.
The custody hearing's set to start in less than an hour, which is exactly how much time you have to calm down.
I'm going to be 10 feet away from Dorian, all right? The heart of darkness herself. Now, how am I supposed to calm down?
You're supposed to be the father Star needs, at least in the eyes of the judge, which means no outbursts, no fuming, no sarcasm.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
custody of your daughter, or don't you?
I will calm down.
You'd better. Judge Goldberg was astoundingly sympathetic to you during the first hearing in January. And Blair isn't a viable option because she's still in the hospital. So, in my mind, the only way you won't get custody is if you blow it by blowing up.
Here's my little girl. You going into your playpen?
And should you feel the urge to explode, just think of her.
What'd you put her in there for? I thought you were going to the park.
We are, to play with the ducks.
That must be what that bag of stale bread for is in the kitchen. Where'd you get that, huh?
I'm gonna go heat up my coffee.
Taya's okay, huh? I mean, she's not your mother. Nobody quite like your mother. I mean, that's what I thought when I was far, far away, you know, when I was in Ireland. I just wanted to get back here, be with her and this daughter that I'd never even seen before. I figured have this big, happy family, and was I ever wrong? I had to start over again. New family. Trust me, you're better off. It's too bad that there's no room for your mother in here. You miss her, huh? I'll bet she misses you, too. That's just the way it's gotta be now. But hey, listen to me. I'm here, okay? And I will always be here. I promise.
You don't need to worry. You're gonna win today.
You'll forgive me for not kissing your hand and taking that as gospel, but you never won a custody case before.
No, I haven't. But it's the old, is the cup half full or half empty thing, isn't it? No, I haven't ever been in a custody suit before. But I've never lost one either. Dorian's lawyer has. So, whose chances do you like better? Oh.
Thanks for coming. This can only help our chances. The more family members on hand, the better. How is Blair? Any change in her condition?
I spoke to Dr. Didot this morning. Unfortunately, Blair is still not speaking coherently.
I'm sorry to hear that, for her sake and ours.
Well, you don't strike me as overwhelmingly optimistic about today's prospects.
No, wait, there's no reason to manufacture a gray cloud when only a silver lining will do.
Well, forget my bluntness, but this isn't about atmospherics. It's about the law, and frankly, rotten timing.
Now, what would you suggest? That I have done nothing? Blair is helpless. Star even more so. Not on your life.
What are Mother's chances of getting custody of Star?
I'd say hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
I'm sorry, why is everybody being so negative?
The timing isn't very good. If I were Mr. Manning's attorney, I'd definitely argue that your niece is a long way from recovery, so why should Star live with an aunt instead of her father?
Can we consider the father here? This isn't some average single parent we're talking about. This is Todd, a rapist, a kidnapper, a murderer. Star's life, Star's very existence depends on all of us.
What will your argument be?
That Dorian can provide a stable family environment until Blair recovers and Todd can't, which is why I'm glad the family's here. It helps to have a niece who's tantamount to a daughter, and a daughter who's a loving mother in her own right, to say nothing of being married to the minister of St. James.
You haven't told her yet? You're still you. Wonderful.
Oh, swell.
What wasn't I told?
Well, I have a little domestic update for you. How incredibly noble of you.
Hold it now. Are you angry at me right now? Because I'm sorry that the interview didn't go well, but it has nothing to do with me.
Really? And I'm sorry that you told him I deserted our son. So how the hell do you justify telling such a mammoth lie like that?
I told Eli that we were divorced. Anything else he heard someplace else.
Really? So now our divorce is the topic of choice for sunroom conversation. Come on.
You know, I wish I could share your outrage at this, but the fact of the matter is there are a lot of people out there, Cassie, who see our situation exactly the way that Eli called it. And if they're talking and he happens to hear it, I mean, that is not my problem.
Really? Now, Andrew, you and I agreed that we were going to act like civilized adults who don't detest each other for River's sake.
Cassie said you were the toughest interviewee she's ever had.
Cool.
Not doing much to help your own cause.
Yep, well, who can?
You mind putting this down for a minute? You know, the whole purpose of getting an article on the Banner was to let people know your story.
What do they care?
Well, we're never going to find out. Since you decided not to cooperate with Cassie, you could have at least been civil. You didn't have to be so hard on her.
Maybe not. But you're glad I was, right?
Hardly. She wants to help you, so do I. No, I'm not glad.
You know what? Take your help and shove it, both of you.
Did it ever occur to you that when someone goes out on a limb, the proper response is not to grab a chainsaw?
I didn't ask for squat. I didn't ask for story, help, nothing. I'm fine. Just leave me alone.
I don't think you're fine.
You know, you never just come out and say anything, do you?
What? What do you mean?
You're always dancing around. My mom's gonna kick, and then I'll be all alone. That's what you're trying to say, isn't it? So why don't you just come out and say it?
Because I prefer to focus on what we can do so that you won't be alone.
You are such a wuss. Why don't you just lay it on me? Say, hey, kid, your old lady's gonna croak.
Your old lady's gonna croak. Heard enough?
Yeah.
Let's discuss the next step, okay?
I already know what's next. First my mom dies, then it's my turn.
Eli, you got an excellent chance of living a long and symptom-free life if you take out this medication. You can do it despite the fact that you're HIV positive.
I got born with AIDS.
No, you got born HIV positive. Now, it's a bad stroke of luck. It's not necessarily fatal if you stick to the medication schedule.
Whatever.
It's critical.
Fine.
Eli, it's critical. And it's not easily done. Now, you've got all these doctors and nurses managing everything for you, but you're going to get discharged very soon. It's going to become your responsibility. The medicine won't work if you don't stick to the schedule.
No biggie. I've been taking junk by myself since I could hold a glass of water.
Okay, I'm sure that's true, but don't you think it would help if you had someone?
Yeah, great. I'd go track down my last stepfather that Mom brought home, Greg. He would just love a 15-year-old with AIDS coming to live with him. He'd tell me when to take my pills. I'd tell him when to put on his rubber gloves and beat the crap out of me.
Now, look, that's not the solution I'm suggesting. I'm just trying to get you to think a little bit about your future here.
Oh, give me a break. I've seen you guys come in here all the time, especially with Casey Barnes.
Now, who's Casey Barnes?
The kid in the bed next to mine. They'd always tell him how everything was going to be great, how he was going to go home and everything would be cool. Then, they'd go play golf, they'd go eat or whatever they did. When he croaked, they just went on to the next sucker's bed. It's just like a job for you guys.
You really think that's what it is for me?
I don't know. Maybe you're different. Maybe you buy that happy ending goop. But you know what? It really doesn't matter. Because I don't have a future. Any more than Casey did. You know what? I could care less.
This hearing has been requested by Miss Dorian Lord as guardian ad litem for Ms. Blair Daimler seeking custody of Star Manning. These proceedings represent a new petition of this court. But before we begin, let me remind you that this court's guiding principle is to serve as Star Manning's advocate. Her best interests, and they alone, will be at the heart of whatever decision is reached here today. Counsel, are you prepared to make opening statements?
We are, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Very well. Ms. Richardson, since the petition for change in status was brought by Ms. Lord, I will ask you to begin.
Thank you. Your Honor, the welfare of Star Manning is foremost in the mind of Ms. Lord as well. It is her contention on behalf of Star's mother, Blair Daimler, that Star's well-being is seriously jeopardized so long as she's in her father's full-time care. Todd Manning is an unfit parent. This was clearly established at the January hearing, and the pattern of neglect and irresponsibility has only continued. Your Honor, this little girl will be far safer, far better off in all respects with her mother, Blair Daimler.
Blair Daimler simply cannot care for a child. The affidavits filed with the court by Mr. Manning's medical experts prove this beyond all doubt. Ms. Daimler not only suffers from the debilitating effects of a near-fatal car accident, severely limited mobility, long-term nerve and muscle damage, but has recently endured a stroke, which left her incapable of speech. It is, in fact, Ms. Daimler who needs to be cared for. During this difficult time, Star has lived with Mr. Manning, who, contrary to my colleague's assessment, was shown during the January hearing to be a loving and deeply committed parent. He's shown that time and again since January. Indeed, after many months with only her father as a guardian, Star is thriving. For these reasons, it seems illogical, pointless, and even cruel to remove Star from the happy home she shares with her father in order that she may be placed with a distant and, as I will show, highly unreliable relative.
These affidavits are from Miss Daimler's personal physicians, who insist her prognosis for a full recovery is excellent, and they would certainly know.
Conjecture, Your Honor.
Overruled.
It's true Miss Daimler was seriously injured in an accident, and she did suffer a recent stroke. However, her motor skills are unimpaired thanks to an aggressive course of therapy begun immediately following the stroke. For the same reason, Miss Daimler's aphasia, the loss of speech, is expected to be only temporary, which, by the way, also applies to the physical limitations resulting from her accident injuries. In other words, Miss Daimler's doctors see no reason she won't eventually be able to resume all her normal activities, including the rearing of her daughter.
We're gonna win this.
Granted, Ms. Daimler can't resume her parenting responsibilities today, but we feel it's absolutely essential Star be given a stable home today. Something Mr. Manning has not provided.
Objection. Unsubstantiated conclusion.
Your Honor, I believe I can justify that statement.
Very well. Objection overruled.
First of all, Mr. Manning, as publisher of The Sun, oversees every aspect of the paper's operation. This demands long days and often long nights at the office and away from Star. He's virtually an absentee father. Second, he has no supportive extended family on hand to pick up the slack, as there would be in the home of Dorian Lord. No cousins, no aunts, just a succession of babysitters and nannies, hardly the hallmark of a solid home. Third, and most importantly, who is this father who finally comes home to Star? Ms. Delgado's wrong about what the records of the first hearing indicate. They make it clear Todd Manning is unfit to raise any child. This man is a rapist, a kidnapper.
Objection, Your Honor. No charge of kidnapping has ever been brought against Mr. Manning, nor should there ever have been.
Sustained.
Let's focus only on what kind of father Mr. Manning's been since the January hearing. After all, the point is to determine what is best for Star now.
We all know what that is.
Star does need a stable home, which Mr. Manning has provided for her. Yes, there are nannies and babysitters. But since when does providing extra help for your child suddenly constitute deprivation? Mr. Manning is a working father. After all, Star's mother's been in the hospital for many months. In fact, Mr. Manning was counting the days till his then-wife would come home to be with Star again, till, out of the blue, she asked for a divorce.
Out of the blue, she found out the fiend was a murderer.
But Mr. Manning did not let Ms. Daimler's actions adversely affect Star. He remarried. Star now has a new mommy to take the place of the one who chose not to come back to her.
Now, that is a ploy. No, I'm sorry, Your Honor. This marriage is nothing but a sham to manipulate the court. Would you like to know who Mr. Manning has married? His lawyer. She's on a retainer, you notice, not a honeymoon.
Order. Ms. Richardson, either you keep your client quiet or I will have the bailiff do it. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Delgado, please continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. For the record, I am both Mr. Manning's attorney and wife, but my personal observations and feelings have no bearing on these proceedings. The facts alone tell the story. Mr. Manning not only cared for Star when her mother was absent, but he saw her through a life-threatening bone marrow transplant. Ask the neighbors, ask the hospital staff, ask people who don't even particularly admire this man. Everyone agrees Todd Manning's actions have proven him to be a dedicated, loving, deeply committed father. To take Star away from him now, after tragedy has so tightly bonded them together, would be awful enough. But to place her in the custody of a woman with a less than sterling track record of parenting herself, not to mention a continuous shoveling of men in and out of her house, would be absurd. Your Honor, the conclusion is as obvious as it is simple. There is no compelling reason to tear Star Manning away from the happy home she has with her father, now that her mother is no longer capable of caring for her, and may never be.
She's sleeping, so I'm gonna go.
It's probably just as well. She had a rough night.
She'd have a rough day if she were awake. Her daughter's custody hearing is going on right now.
Blair doesn't know anything about that, and I'd just as soon it stayed that way a while.
Well, I'm not gonna be the one to tell her, even if I had the chance.
Wait. Morning. How do you feel?
Good. I feel good.
Then you might as well stay.
I know you're having trouble speaking, so let's not even worry about that, right?
No, Padre, I walked to try.
silence, never heard anything?
No. Patrick. I want to try. I did.
She did. That's wonderful. Now, why don't you let me provide the words? I've got plenty of them.
No. You, tell me. What's new?
Pregnant?
I assume you think that's a good thing.
Absolutely. You took a home pregnancy test?
No, I'm barely past the home pregnancy cause.
Hello.
Maybe a little too soon, but I have a feeling.
Well, most mothers do. Hey, I've been a doctor long enough to realize that most women are pretty much right on about this.
Well, that's why I wanted to speak with you.
About your lupus.
Yes. I know pregnancy can cause a flare-up, and the antibodies in my system might boost the chance of having a miscarriage, even late term. So how do I avoid that?
Have you had any episodes lately?
No, not in a long time. Lupus really seems to be under control, and I want to keep it that way.
Well, I would suggest having regular blood tests to check the antibody levels and keep tabs on the indices of lupus activity. The more information we have, not to mention any advance warning on any problems, the better your chances are of having a perfectly normal pregnancy.
Thank you, modern technology.
Yeah, I'm into that. You know, it wasn't so long ago I would have advised a woman with lupus to forget about having children entirely. Although there have been cases where giving birth has actually improved the woman's condition.
In that case, I hope I have twins.
Marty, I wouldn't be a good doctor or a good friend if I didn't warn you that you'd be foolish not to realize that there are some serious risks involved here.
What in life isn't a risk?
Hey, excellent question.
Everything people do is about taking chances. You don't learn to walk if you're not willing to fall down. You certainly don't fall in love if you're not able to risk getting your heart broken.
Oh, you're going to be just a fine mother.
Even with the risks.
Maybe because of them.
That's nice to hear. Thank you.
It's okay. Listen, I'm sorry I popped off there. Obviously, you wouldn't be here if you weren't already worried about what risks that the lupus does pose to the pregnancy.
No, my eyes are wide open, and Patrick and I happen to be veteran risk takers. Why stop now? Besides, I think there's a hole in his life where Brendan was meant to be. And only a child will fill that.
What would a son or daughter mean to you?
Completion? I don't know, I think back to the dark ages, my party years, and I was so desperate to find love, and I did. I found it in Patrick. But then I realized that there's something more that I want. I want to be able to pass that love on, and I'm not going to let a case of lupus stop me.
I would have been surprised to hear anything else.
Then you'll help monitor my pregnancy?
Oh, lady, I'll do better than that. For the next 9 months, I'm going to keep eyes on you like a hawk.
Thank you. I have one more question.
Yeah.
Will you come to my wedding? I know this was a risk, too.
Marty...
I understand you weren't overjoyed that I divorced Dylan to be with Patrick, especially since you gave me away, but it's very important to me.
Well, obviously.
It's not going to be a big deal, just family and friends. I happen to consider you both. Wouldn't be a celebration without you, please.
Are you serving chicken or fish?
Thank you.
Oh, come on. Look, I want you to understand this. I don't have anything against Patrick. It's just he seems to come with a lot of complications.
All right, well, here's a little story for you. Margaret and I are finally to be married. All right. obviously don't need words to tell me how you feel about that.
Oh, Silver. No. Sorry.
So am I. I'm hurt to think that you can't abide the woman that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. But it's just as painful to know that Margaret has no warm feelings for you either. The rancor between you two is like the red spot on Jupiter. Never seems to fade, you know? Be that as it may, I still want to ask you for a favor.
What?
Do you think you can find it in your heart, somehow, in some way, to be happy for Margaret and me? Now, this is not an impossible request, because I know how much love there is in that heart of yours. See, I've seen it. I saw it shining in your eyes the night that we were driving and singing in the car. Do you remember?
Sandhills, are we?
Soldiers, are we? Whose lives are pledged to Ireland.
To Ireland.
That's right. I will be your friend always. How could I not be after everything we've been through?
Is everything all right?
We're trying our best. Aren't we?
It's time for your therapy, but I suppose it could wait until your friend leaves.
No, we can do it now.
Did someone say that this patient had problems speaking?
She did up to this point.
I can say what I'm thinking. Doctor, I can say what I'm thinking.
So I hear. I have no idea if it's your visit that's made the difference, but Blair's just taken a huge step closer to recovery.
It is a pity that Ms. Daimler is still so far from recovery that she couldn't be here today. She's the one voice missing from this proceeding who should have had a chance to be heard.
How could she be heard? She can't even speak. Mrs. Lord, please.
Ms. Richardson.
I think you should tell the judge that Todd is the one who caused Blair's stroke. He's the one who put her in the hospital.
Ms. Richardson, is there a problem?
No, Your Honor.
Good. Of course, the question at hand is what custodial arrangement suits Star Manning best in the absence of her mother. So I see no reason to delay ruling on this matter.
Here we go.
Yup. Money time. Please, please.
I have listened to the arguments presented here this morning and found them compelling as well as ably put forward. However, the choice, in my mind, for Star Manning is clear and unambiguous. Therefore, this court is prepared to hand down its decision with no further deliberation.
I hate court.
You won't in a few minutes.
What makes you so damn sure this is going to turn out the way I want?
Because I'm good. And we're right.
Let me first reassure both sides that this court's decision is anything but rash or ill-considered. I am well acquainted with this case, having presided over the previous hearing in January. And my priority is clear: to determine how this child, Star Manning, can best be served. What living arrangement suits her needs. Accordingly, I have examined Star's current situation, living at home with her father and her stepmother. And alternately, being placed in the care of her maternal aunt while her mother continues her recovery. It is tragic, indeed, when a mother is so incapacitated that she cannot care for her own child. I sincerely wish Miss Daimler a speedy return to full health, at which point I will, of course, be willing to hear new arguments on this matter. However, at this time, I can see no benefit to Star were she to be removed from Mr. Manning's home. What she needs now is a loving, stable atmosphere, and I think her father gives her that. Therefore, the plaintiff's motion is denied.
You can't do this, Your Honor.
Down.
I mean, why don't you take the child and throw her down a well or off a cliff in order to destroy her? At least then her suffering would be brief instead of spending her life with this monster.
I said order. Ms. Lord, if you say one more word, I will cite you for contempt. Now, is that clear?
Dorian, I want you to pick up your purse and walk quietly and calmly toward the door. Now. Come on, pick it up. Good.
You are my favorite lawyer.
Everyone's got to start somewhere.
She really thinks that Todd is a better bet than Dorian? I can't believe this.
Well, I can, and I think it's a pretty easy choice.
What?
Come on, Kelly. My mother is having an affair with Mel. She just blew up at the judge. I left my husband for a co-worker, and your former boyfriend was a blackmailer and a con artist. The Kramer women are not exactly poster girls for family stability these days. Andrew.
Hey.
Glad I found you.
Just going to go in and have a little talk with our young friend. You know, I've been all over the hospital today. I've seen a lot of very sick people, and I have not found one that's as abrasive and as petulant and negative as Eli, so I just thought I'd go in and say goodbye to him.
You saw him earlier?
Yeah, I attempted to have a conversation with him, foolish optimist that I am. I tell you, he loves his grimness. The bleaker, the better.
You can be thrilled then when I go in there. His mother just died.
That's what I was going to talk to him about. I was hoping to do it before it happened. I didn't expect it this soon.
No, the staff didn't either. She took a turn for the worse earlier this morning, and she just didn't come back. Would you mind going in there with me?
No, of course not. Listen, I'll tell him if
No,
you'd like.
no. As attending physician, I would like to do that. It would just be a lot easier if you were there with me.
Okay. You ready?
Is anybody ever ready for this? Eli. No, I understand. No, that's okay. All right, thank you. No luck?
If he's not in a closet or under a bed, he's sure not on this floor.
He's gone.
No, not necessarily. You know, he could be on one of the other floors in the hospital. He loves to surf the elevators. It's against the rules, but that's what he does.
That's why he's gone. I just spoke with the duty nurse on the floor that his mother was on.
Oh, no.
Eli went up there to see his mother.
And they told him that she died?
Worse. They told him he couldn't go in to see her body.
Oh, this poor kid, Marty.
I know. I guess he took off. He was really freaked out.
Worst thing that could have happened. You know, he sure didn't stop at the front desk to pick up the medications.
No, there goes his new protocol.
There goes a lot. We got to get Bo on the phone here.
Help me, Shorty. Help me, huh? This is an emergency. I've been being attacked by cute, fluffy dogs. That's what's wrong.
He's happy, can you tell?
That's right, I'm happy. You know why, huh? Because every time I walk through that door, you know what I'm gonna see? You. This is your home now. Forever. So I hope you like the view.
We won.
That's right, we won. You know why we won? Because your stepmother is so smart. She's brilliant. She's so smart that I don't have to share you with anybody. Ever again. You're all mine.
But I may get to hold you for a couple minutes on alternate Sundays.
Well, maybe we could work something out.
I told you I'm good.
You weren't lying. You know, it's weird. When I came back to town, after being dead, I had one thing on my mind. I wanted to be with my wife and my kid. And look what I got. I mean, it's not exactly the original cast, but who's complaining?
You?
Yeah, it's good enough for me.
Honey, I like it when people call me good, But good enough makes me uneasy.
Why? You were great today.
As a lawyer, good enough as a wife.
Oh, that was the deal.
I guess I'm just spoiled. I'm used to being #1 across the board. But I can't complain either. Your little girl is going to be just that. Yours. And that was the whole idea behind the whole idea.
Yeah. Now, only one thing would have made this just a perfect moment.
That being?
A chance to see Dorian's face. You know, a candid glimpse of the big loser. I bet she's handling this with her usual quiet dignity and class.
That pompous sanctimonious... That arrogant poser!
Honey, that was an ashtray. They're lethal in the air. Just settle down.
She hasn't got a brain in her head! Mother, please! I mean, she's not a judge. She's an executioner. That's what she is. How can she do this to Blair's beautiful little baby? I hate her! I hate her! I hate her!
Listen, it's gonna be okay. Do you want me to get you anything? Water?
I just want to be left alone, okay? Just need to be alone.
That's the first convincing impression of a volcano I've ever seen.
I think Mother's reaction is understandable.
Is it? God knows, Dorian wants Star, but this isn't disappointment. It's hysteria. It doesn't tally.
What do you mean?
Well, Dorian's behaving as if she thinks Star's going to be roasted on a spit. Todd's been a very fine father to his daughter. That may be his only single saving grace.
So you think that Mother's fears for Star are irrational?
I think that they're coming from someplace else. Someplace deeper. No, listen to me. This is how you end up sounding when your mother's a shrink.
I think they may have something to do with Addie.
Dorian's sister.
Yeah, Addie treated Mother really horribly as a child.
How do you mean? Abused her?
Well, there was this one famous incident where Addie went after Mother with a pair of scissors.
Oh, God. Trauma like that goes a sickeningly long way toward explaining why Dorian has such wild fears for Star.
Well, Mother, you know, she doesn't really want to ever talk about this, so maybe you can get her to open up.
Yeah. I'll give it a whirl the first chance I get. Things like this shouldn't stay bottled up in anyone, especially a woman as high-octane as Dorian.